Hello guys, what is up? My name is Ulua5 and welcome to Will Sportster. Today we have the first ever Manchester United post-match reaction, and what a game to do it for, to say the least. We definitely have some things to talk about. Obviously last night, this is the day after, we played Sevilla at Old Trafford. I was at the game myself. A night that started off perfectly, and to put it lightly, ended absolutely catastrophically for Manchester United. It wasn't a good night for us. Not in any sense of the imagination, but it gives me something to talk about today. I'm still very annoyed about the game yesterday. Being there, I was furious at the match. But yes, we're going to be splitting this into 3 segments. Should we say? Segment 1 being Erik ten Hag, Section 2 being what I'm going to call the left-hand side, and Section 3 missed chances. Let's start with Erik ten Hag. I've not been one to criticise Erik ten Hag at all this season. I don't think he's got a lot wrong, but I think last night substitutes were wrong. Completely wrong. I think bringing 3 attackers on with around 10 minutes to go, changing your entire front line. Obviously, hindsight's 2020. We didn't know Martinez was going to go and get injured, which obviously could have brought on a sub if he didn't use them subs. But I get what he was trying to do. He's trying to get Weghorst into form. He's trying to give Pellistri some game time to find his feet. I don't get the Elanga sub. I do in terms of getting Sancho off, and we're going to talk about that later in the left-hand side. But getting Elanga on, he's not played him at all this season. He clearly doesn't fancy him. He doesn't want to use him, so why bring him on? He tried hard. He ran a lot, but so does Weghorst every game. Eriksen, obviously, bringing him back into the squad, getting him playing well, but I don't think it should have been at the sacrifice of Bruno Fernandes. He's already suspended for that second leg, and he's already stated he trusts him on a yellow not to pick up a red. So subbing him off for Eriksen, as much as Eriksen played well, I don't think it was the sub to make. I think a Fred would have been better in that game when it got a bit scrappy and choppy towards the end. Or even taking off Marcel. Could have been an option. I know we probably wanted to leave him on to get his hat-trick. I doubt that. It's a slight possibility, other than he was playing absolutely incredible. I thought Marcel Sabitzer had an amazing game. But I just don't get don't get some of the substitute options, some of the choices that we made. Obviously, Maguire for Varane was needed. And then I felt like the game needed freshening up. I think, to be honest, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think taking off Martial was probably a mistake. And then I think taking off Anthony after you've took off Martial was definitely a mistake, and Bruno as well. Because as much as Anthony was playing up and being a bit of a tit, he still was our most dangerous player on the pitch and still looked like he could produce a goal. And I think when we had the front 3 we had on at the end, the whole sting was took out of the game. But saying that, he has done some questionable substitutes, but also he's been one of the best managers for substitutes, so we can't really criticise him too heavily, and he also isn't at fault for us conceding 2 own goals, Martinez getting injured, Varane getting injured, and us not finishing our chances. Well, this is where we move on to the hard part, the left-hand side. Our left-hand side last night was absolutely shambolic. Malacia has his off games. He did not play well at all last night, but I don't think he was aided by the fact that, I'm sorry I'm saying this, but Jadon Sancho was absolutely atrocious last night. Could not even do the basics. And it got to the point where there was a phase where Casemiro had the ball, Sancho was free, unmarked completely, and he was just not even looking at him. He was looking at the rest of the open pitch saying, I'm not passing to you, and ended up having to pass to him because there was literally nothing else on. The thing is, we were getting caught so many times because the ball was going to him. He was losing it, just running into someone, trying to megs them, and just not even getting anywhere near, and then they were hitting us on the break. The second goal actually came from Martial looking at him going, I'm not passing to you, I'm waiting for something else. Then Malasia's run came. But I think Malacia, sorry, not passing to Sancho. Malacia was poor. Malacia was very poor. But I don't think he was helped by the lack of support he was getting from Sancho, and the fact that whenever he ran forward, Sancho was often losing the ball and he was having to track back to his own goal, legging it down. Now, the own goal isn't his fault. You've got to try to block the cross. I think, yes, he should knock it out, but he probably also needs a shout to say there's a man behind him. Poor communication in the defence, possibly to blame for that. I don't really blame Malacia all too much for that. Obviously, hindsight's 2020. You should just kick it out, get rid of it. You're under the cosh for the last 10 minutes. Just batter it out. And then we're going to tie this into Erik ten Hag substitutes. I know he doesn't want to ruin the lad. I know he likes the lad. But Sancho was lucky to make it past 30. He was lucky to make it past half-time. I think you should have took him off at half-time because, as well as this, Sancho's poor form was affecting the players around him. Because no one was moaning. The second Bruno starts moaning at Sancho for playing poorly, everyone else starts to moan. Tony, Martial putting his arms up, why are you not passing to me? As soon as Bruno starts moaning at someone, that has an effect on the whole team. Your captain, he's moaning at a player. Everyone then starts to moan and complain. Bruno was spending more of his time complaining at Jadon Sancho for playing poorly and then complaining at Malacia for playing poorly, that it affected his own game and he ended up getting riled up and hot-headed or whatever that Bruno Fernandes does. If you take Jadon Sancho off, you eliminate that. Yeah, you might think, oh, he might come up with a moment of magic, but the fact is Jadon Sancho's poor form was having a negative impact on the whole team. They were looking at players not to pass to him, they were looking for any other option to pass to him. Bruno was complaining at him, which was affecting Bruno's game, and then was affecting other players because other players started to have a whinge and a moan because Bruno was having a whinge and a moan, which is something that is a downside of Bruno Fernandes, but you could see why he was complaining at Sancho for that. But as I was saying, personally, I think we should have at half-time done one of two things. Put Bruno out on the left and brought Eriksen in for Sancho and then do the midfield you had, or bring Fred in, because then with Bruno on the left, he can come back and help Malacia, because Malacia had no support from Sancho defensively, none at all. At least with Bruno on that left-hand side, or even Alanga when he came on, gives Malacia that defensive support, which could hopefully help improve his game in the second half. So personally, I would either put... First, I'd have put Bruno Fernandes there. Secondly, I would have put Weghorst on and put Martial on the left as a possibility. Or would have put Palestri on, because we know he likes Palestri. But that left-hand side was getting battered all game. They were doing nothing. Like, it was not helping our game whatsoever. It was actually affecting the team. Because the thing is, they were targeting our left-hand side. They knew every time that left-hand side they had a chance of winning that ball back. So that meant we kept going down the right every time. And then if we go down the right every time, it's like when Rashford plays, we get predictable. But when we have Anthony and Rashford, we could go down either side, so it's less predictable. But in that game, we were solely focusing all our attacks down that right-hand side with Sabitzer and Anthony, which becomes predictable and easier to defend. So it made no sense. Obviously, he's had his issues, and I love Jadon Sancho, but it's just getting so frustrating now at this point. His simple lack of foundations, and even his lack of heart. It doesn't look like he's trying half the time. He's jogging about. He's doing Anthony Martial. He's pulling out of half chances. He's not putting his full body into tackles. He's not... Martinez puts his head where other people wouldn't put their foot. Jadon Sancho pulls out of everything. He's just not a battler. He's not a warrior. He's not giving everything to the team. He's a brilliant, technical, skillful player. But in that game, if that game was at Sevilla, he'd get murdered. He would. He'd get absolutely destroyed. Yeah. Because it just wasn't there. It wasn't working for him. And you could see everyone was getting frustrated at him. And that doesn't do his confidence any better as well. Is taking him off at half-time worse than him getting rinsed and complained at by his teammates for the next 30 minutes? Who knows? Well, not 30, but, 15-something minutes. Because they were complaining at him for minute 30. You get what I mean. Is it worth... Is taking him off doing worse to his confidence than his teammates complaining at him all the time? I don't know. I can't tell you that answer. Personally, I think you should take him off. because he looked destroyed. He looked like he had nothing in him. Yeah, and then the complaining was just making it worse and worse and worse and worse. Yeah, you could see his number wasn't even come up. He was walking off the pitch. He wanted to get off that pitch. He wanted to be gone. He didn't want any part of that game. He just wanted to be done with it, which is unfortunate because he's a player with so much potential. But we'll stop talking about that for now, and we'll go on to lastly, missed chances. I want to talk about this because I've seen a lot of people going at Wout Weghorst for the Alanga Malacia thing. Firstly, Anthony, the one that hit the bar, unlucky. That goes in, completely different game, obviously. 3-0, ties dead in the water kind of thing. But not putting away those chances at 2-0 gave them hope to stay in the game and try clinch something. You don't put those chances away. At 2-0, they were still in that game, as you can see. And they were just waiting and waiting and waiting until something happened, and then, bam. They caught us with 2 own goals. It's unlucky. It is what it is. But if you'd put that 3 goals in, that flattens their mood completely. At 2-0, they still believe they're in it, and you need to take out any belief that they have, which we didn't do. Now, in terms of the Weghorst chance, I want to talk about this because I see a lot of people digging him out. And as much as his criticism is wanted this season, he's a lone player. He's not going to be here next season. He's trying his best, but he's poor. He's poor. He's a lovely bloke, but he's poor. He isn't in Manchester United number 9. He isn't even a Premier League number 9. Yeah, he is a poor, poor finisher. I don't know if he's out of form or what, but he's not shown anything in this time at United to show that he's anything more than a poor number 9. But in that situation, yeah, it's brilliant looking at still images saying he should square it to Alanga for an open goal. Yeah, but in that position, Wout Weghorst is not looking at Anthony Alanga. I don't even know if Anthony Alanga's in his vision. You're thinking, oh my God, keeper's there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it off facing the way I am, because if you think he's going to have to turn to pass to Alanga, yeah, he's got Malacia on the edge of the box open. He lays it off to Malacia. Weghorst is expecting he lays it off to Malacia, and Malacia is going to run in and pelt it. Yeah, Malacia comes in, takes about, I don't know, 3-4 touches, yeah, and then by the time it gets to Malacia, all the defenders are in. It's all right in hindsight saying he should pass it to the side to Anthony Alanga. You might not even see Anthony Alanga. He's playing it in the moment, in the split second. The best option, yeah, from the way he was looking and the way his body was positioning, was to set it off to Malacia running in. You got the Frank Lampard goals, the Sabitzer goals, the defender coming in, the midfielder coming in late to shoot. What happened was he laid it off to Malacia. Malacia came in and thought, oh, I don't trust myself here to shoot. I'm going to take 1,000,000 touches. You have to back yourself there. You have to run in, head over it, smash it as hard as you can. Yeah, he took too many touches. The defenders got back. Yeah, it's right looking at a still image going, oh, you should pass it sideways to Anthony Alanga, who had an open goal. Who knows if the goal would have been open when he passed it to Anthony Alanga? The best option there for him to pass was to Malacia. It was unfortunate that Malacia was in that position. If Bruno Fernandes is in that position, Eriksen, Sabitzer, someone else, he passes it often, they're running in there, smashing it straight, solid, into that corner, or into the middle of the net, which probably still would have scored. But he just got unlucky that the fact that it was a left back there, it was still the best pass to play. You'd play that pass 9 times out of 10. Yeah, to the man running in, because he's got the best chance of scoring. He might not even see it. Even if he does see Anthony Alanga, he might not get the connection on that pass to put the power on it for Anthony Alanga. And by the time it's gone across to Anthony Alanga, or possibly Weghorst has turned to pass it with his left foot, sideways to Anthony Alanga, those defenders might already be back on the line. Then it becomes a harder chance. The ball is always straight to Malacia. Malacia running in to hit it. It was just unfortunate, and it was testament to Malacia's game that he had a poor game, that he took 1,000,000 touches. But the thing is, it's come back to bite United again that we've not been clinical enough. It's as simple as that. We are not clinical enough, and that's what's cost us. But yeah, I'm going to leave that there for today. I had a bit of a rant. Enjoyed it. My first one ever of these. They're only ever going to get better. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching this video with me. I'm doing my reacts outro. Thank you for listening to me. Hope you enjoy my opinion. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Tell me what you think of mine. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and peace. Show me where to look for a halo. Oh, I'm sick and tired of the pain, so I don't wanna be the one to let go. Oh no.